Hey guys, today we'll be looking at my pickups I got from a trip I took to Video Game Heaven in Norfolk, Virginia. So let's take a look what I got. Real quick, if you guys just want to get to the pickups themselves, if you don't want to hear my story about my trip to Norfolk, Virginia, just skip to this time code right here on screen so you can get straight to the pickups here. But if you want to hear my story on Video Game Heaven in Norfolk, Virginia, then feel free to stick around, and thanks for watching regardless. So I recently took a family vacation to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. Though my family, we first landed in Norfolk, Virginia, because that was the closest airport we could get to then drive down to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. But our first day in Virginia, though, I took the opportunity to go to a store in Norfolk called Video Game Heaven. They're one of like the couple game stores you can go to that's like a regular mom and pop shop that's not corporate owned by GameStop, and it's a really nice place overall. The way they present the store with the way that they sort the games and everything, it looks beautiful in there, honestly, as you guys can tell for some of these shots here. I like that in like the middle of the store, they have what normally you would see in, say, like comic book stores, is like these bins that they just have rows and rows of games and even like loose disc copies as well. And they're sorted like alphabetically, that there's just so much stuff in like the middle of the store that usually those are like the cheap dollar bin type games and all that. But I just really love that that's the way they presented that stuff. And they also have really nice display cases for like any system you could think of, all the way down to like, you know, the Atari 2600 to current stuff and all that. For like the display case, of course, you know, they got stuff for like what's mostly sought after for those systems, the well-known titles, the consoles are respectively known for, etc., etc. But yeah, I got a couple pickups there while I was there, and I have to give thanks to my family for driving me there, and mainly my dad for driving, and then my mother also for helping me pay for this stuff, which when we got back, like she like took the money from my account, so that way like I'm actually the one paying for all this stuff here, as well as everything on this trip here. So yeah, huge thank you to them for like getting me this stuff here, because without them I wouldn't have had this stuff here. So with all that said, let's take a look at stuff that I got. First thing I got was Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. This game, I wanted to have this for quite a while. I actually used to have this back then when it first came out. Matter of fact, I don't remember what I did with my original copy, honestly, but I really wanted to get the game back here, especially the one where it's got the Uncharted 4 little slip inside there when you could get access to the multiplayer beta at the time, because that's originally how it was, though there are some copies where it doesn't have that seal on there. Though a funny thing with this case here, I didn't notice this when I was shopping there, but the case this is in, clearly it used to it's a replacement case that used to be for an NBA game right there, because you can see that sticker on the bottom left there. I wish I saw that earlier, so I probably would have picked it up. And another thing I noticed after I got out of the store, there's a tear in the back of the cover art, but what is kind of making me want to keep this title regardless is because the not for resale tag there, where like a barcode would be. Maybe this cover art was like for display purpose at one point possibly, and just like the artwork was like swapped to a different case here, and they just like threw the game and the insert into this afterwards too. So kind of like a weird copy I have here, but nonetheless, the game, like, it's Uncharted, for God's sakes. Like, I really do want to like play these games every now and again because they're pretty good. Next one here, I didn't know this existed, honestly, and part of like the series that it is, I want to get most of the games in the whole franchise. That's Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, a Collector's Edition. This collector's edition, I didn't know it was a thing originally, but it comes with 2 discs here. One is the actual game disc, and the other has, I want to say, like bonus features, or maybe like the soundtrack is on it. I don't remember what was on it though originally. If you guys can tell me in the comments of like what this edition normally has, but yeah, I want to pick it up here because anything Final Fantasy related I just pick up. This next one, I was surprised I didn't have this for quite a long time, even despite like how cheap it is. PlayStation AllStars Battle Royale. This is a game, or I should say a concept, that PlayStation really needs to like go back and try again with. Don't like port this game though to like the PS5 though, because honestly, this game as like a brawler, so a platform brawler similar to Smash, it's really not good, honestly. The way you get kills in this game is really, really stupid, honestly, compared to just knock your opponent off the stage and then whoever like dies the most amount of lives for like stock battles or whatever mode you get then wins, of course. The way they do it in this game was unbelievably stupid. But with how many characters is in PlayStation's history, like they really should like go back and try another shot at a game like this here. So hopefully it'll be sometime soon, but I honestly don't see that given the current leadership that PlayStation has for where they mostly want to focus their business with, though. But moving on. Next thing I got here, this was in a display case. I'm glad I saw this, though, because I used to have this back then, but due to one point that I think I sold off the whole the console and the set that the games that I had here, and this was one of them, but I'm glad to have this back. Doom 3 Collector's Edition for the OG Xbox. This was how I originally played Doom 3 back then. And this copy, if you're unfamiliar, it's got like this nice slipcover over it, and it's basically a steelbook copy. And inside you have like a regular manual as well as a disc that is unique to this version. It's not like a standard Doom 3 copy, but it is one that does say like Collector's Edition on it. And what this has is Doom 3, the base game, as well as the original Ultimate Doom. So it's like Doom 1 with all of its expansions, like I think it was like 3 or 4 expansions they came out with the first game, as well as Doom 2. And the other things, it also came with behind the scenes making of Doom 3 and interviews with its software when they were making the game back then. All that is on the one disc here that this edition comes with. But like I said, I used to have this back then. I really kind of regretted like getting rid of it, because this would have been the only thing I would have kept of all of my OG Xbox stuff that really my brother got back then. But thankfully, this is still very cheap these days, as all OG Xbox stuff is still. Like this you can find even with this slipcover like $10 to $20 roundabout. Still a very cheap game overall, because still games for the OG Xbox overall are just very cheap. If you want to get to like the most valuable, expensive stuff for the OG Xbox, you're looking at like $80 to $150. That's literally nothing compared to other systems for what the most expensive games on like other platforms are, where they're probably like $300+ usually. You even go up to like $1,000+ for some systems and all that. But OG Xbox still incredibly cheap to collect for, and I do highly recommend you play Doom 3 still to this day. I love Doom 3 still. It's still an amazing game. Yeah, it's debatable to call it an actual Doom game, but for what it is, though, it's still a very, very well-made game overall, that even with the Doom names, like, I still really enjoyed the game, and I still do to this day. But yeah, I still highly recommend you give that game a shot, though. It's really worth your time still. So when I was going to take all these games up to check out at Video Game Heaven, As they were like processing all the stuff here, I noticed like behind the counter, because originally this was all I was going to get there, but when I saw behind the counter, I saw this one thing that really caught my eye instantly, and in my head it's like, really, really want that badly. Then I had to like really decide now, because you know they're going through all this stuff and about to like walk out the door here in maybe like a minute. Probably not come back to the store probably ever, because you know I can't really come to Virginia since I live in Michigan here. But then I decided, like, give me one of those. They only had like 2 of these in stock here. I'm very glad I picked this up, because if I wanted to get this, I am paying more than double MSRP for this. And in case you haven't noticed, it's Metroid Dread Special Edition. This game, I could not find a pre-order for this when Dread was originally announced a few months ago at I think it was E3 earlier this year. And still to this day before the trip, I could not find it in stock at all. No matter what stores I looked, even my local GameStop couldn't get any ones in stock that I could pre-order. So I thought, well, I guess this is one I'm just gonna have to take the L on, unfortunately. But as soon as I saw that they did have this Video Game Heaven up for display, brand new MSRP, for which this was like $90, I think, that I had to get it, because Metroid is my personal favorite Nintendo franchise, and with what this game is to the series, where it's the latest entry in the storyline of the series, like it takes place after Metroid Fusion, so this is really like Metroid 5 in a way. Really look forward to playing this game here, though I am keeping this sealed though, because this is a collector's edition. It's a Nintendo property. It is a game that definitely fans have requested for a while, that I'm keeping this copy, and it's going up for display behind me on top of the shelf here. But maybe I'll find like a used copy of like a standard copy, and then I'll play the game that way, or I'll just emulate it though, because I own a copy of it here, so I decided that I can emulate it if I want. So yeah, those are everything I got at Video Game Heaven. Highly recommend you guys check them out if you're at all visiting Norfolk, Virginia. The store is beautiful inside there. They got a lot of stuff in there that you'll definitely find a bunch of stuff that you may not know that you may have needed, and a bunch of merchandise in there as well. The service there is pretty good overall. The 2 guys that helped me at the counter, they were very friendly. They were informative of like other services they do if like your stuff is like defective or anything like that, though not that it would matter, because I'm not flying back to Virginia if like this is faulty here or anything, so can't really do that. But doesn't prove like their service is very good overall. So do subscribe for more content like this in the future, guys. I got other pickups of videos of my trip to Virginia, or well, North Carolina, that I will be sharing with you guys. So till then, guys, see you next time.